Hi, I'm Michael Wargo, team pilot for Precision Aerobatics, and this is the AMR 60. Today's video is going to be a little bit about biplanes themselves. A lot of people love biplanes. They love the way they look. They love the way they present themselves in the air, and I really love biplanes too. Problem is, they fly a little different. You know, they're generally not as stable in slow flight. The reason I'm so crazy about the Precision Aerobatics one is from the very first AMR, Sean had designed all these inherent instabilities out of the aircraft. There's a bit of a conflict between the upper and lower wing, and when you go inverted, you notice the front wing is a little further out than the bottom wing, and when you go inverted, it changes. And some of the biplanes I've flown in the past have been so crazy unstable that they get difficult to fly when they get slow and inverted. In fact, the short story is my very first sponsored airplane, just prior to me signing with Precision Aerobatics, was a beautiful little Pitts Python. And as soon as I flipped it inverted and got about 6 feet from the ground, I literally couldn't keep it in the air. It was so unstable, and I ended up crashing almost immediately. It was just terrible because they just sent it to me. But this plane requires no gyro, which is a big deal. There's some other good biplanes out there, and I don't want to mention their names, but they're good. But the problem is they fly that way with the gyro, and everything you're going to see here is no gyro. In fact, my recommendation is to not put a gyro in it. It is very, very stable at all altitudes. So let's go up and fly it. Another important thing is that EPO foam versions of a biplane cannot fly this light. The wing loading is just different. The EPO foam is very heavy, and it's very difficult to design a light aircraft to be able to fly like that. Once you watch this takeoff, watch how absolutely flat stable it is coming over the top, slamming it into this maneuver so hard. And again, it's pretty amazing that a plane like this, especially a biplane, could go into such a pretty straight line maneuver like this single rolling circle and stay really nice, straight, and tight, yet still go over the top, be slammed straight over like I did in the takeoff, and still fly very straight and stable. This is just me personally, but this plane just does everything, and I love it so much because you can see how it tumbles and stuff like that, and then as soon as it gets low and slow like this, it just floats so perfectly and gracefully. It's just incredible. And now you can see the rolling Harrier tendencies. This is with no gyro, but you can see how absolutely dead on that the nose is and how these rolls are so axial. Again, it's very, very difficult to do those with a gyro not set super perfectly. In other words, the gyros make it theoretically possible to do the rolling Harriers and then feel like there is no gyro. The only problem is actually finding those settings for the particular plane that does it. I've really never been able to make it just feel organic and natural. I'm sure it's possible, and I'm sure some people will tell you it's possible, but there's always a little feedback from the gyro or conflict with the gyro. And again, I know people are going to disagree with it, but I'm telling you that it's always been so much prettier and nicer when I do it just with a plane like this that can actually rolling Harrier so pure. The predominant terrible trait with biplanes is generally coupling. They are notoriously bad and sometimes require so much mixing it's crazy. That is not the case with the AMR. That's again why I've been so crazy about it since the first AMR. Flying knife edge, like you can see, is so stable and nice even at slow speeds. It would be unheard of with a biplane. They are doing it now with gyros to a degree. But for the most part, it's a whole lot better if the airframe itself has that sort of stability. And of course, this AMR does. Now let's take a look at the inverted Harrier, and things like that. As you can see, this particular plane is really, really stable, and it doesn't have the wing rock or anything like that. It's kind of windy out there, not terrible, but again, you can see how nice and stable it is, and so on and so forth. Okay, here's my unvarnished opinion on gyros learning to hover. You know, this plane hovers so well, and so on and so forth, and with a plane that doesn't hover well, gyros can help. Gyros can help you learn to hover. The problem is they remove the micro, fine, and small adjustments required for you to do it well. If they take over the small adjustments and you really never learn to do it organically, I believe your skills are going to be compromised, especially compared to someone who learns without. There is a place in this hobby for gyros. I really like them, but I have to say learning to hover organically is best. Straight line flying is hit or miss with biplanes. Of course, with the gyro, you know, it will fly straighter lines. The AMR flies beautiful straight lines, and I love it just the way it is with no gyro, of course. But again, with the short moment, biplanes tend to be a bit hit and miss, and if they have a lot of wing area like the AMR, it's always a bit of a disadvantage for that. The biplane pattern ships are amazing to fly, and I really love them, but of course they're completely designed for that purpose. This, of course, is unique to PA and how quickly it can stop and reverse directions, and it is absolutely a result of the light wing loading and the design of the aircraft. I've said this 100 times, it is all about control. Watch this plane go into a pop top, which is a high energy maneuver, to a really nice rolling Harrier descending, which only the best aircraft can do, and then rolling Harrier to a landing. But you'll see with the light wing loading, it kind of wanted to stay airborne for a little bit. But the truth is, with an extreme flight plane or something that is a heavier airframe, I'm not knocking them, they're very good for a lot of things. But with that maneuver, they just basically just plop down to the ground pretty hard, and you always risk damaging your gear. Having a plane that really does most things so well that, you know, you can fly straight lines, go directly into some tumbling, and then get down low and slow and look so good, I think is really, really awesome. And in this case, for it to be a biplane that just looks so good when you're flying it, I think is quite a bonus. The inherent stability in this plane makes it very easy to hover and very easy to do a lot of things that you could normally not do with a biplane. Finally, if you've ever flown a biplane, you should be able to appreciate this, how it's rolling, 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 and all of a sudden it levels off just perfect and glides in for a soft landing. Whether you were upright or inverted, just watch this. It is very difficult not to appreciate just how perfectly graceful, smooth, no wing rock, and how incredible this airframe really is. That's about it for biplanes. I hope this video was helpful.